Hello and welcome back to MonoRants at the Movies, a podcast where we rewatch our favourite cult and lesser known films and rant about the good and bad in the movies we love. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and with me wielding a shiny silver mallet is my co-host and master of none, Kira.
Smash!
So today we're going horror and we're talking 2008's adaptation of the Clive Barker short story The Midnight Meat Train. Initially this was a Patrick Katopoulos film, but ended up actually being directed by Ryuhei Kitamura. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He's probably most known for the Japanese gangster zombie film Versus. You've seen it.
Have I?
You have seen it.
Okay.
And it was written by Jeff Bueller, who is the creator of Netflix's Night Flyers, and he also wrote the Pet Sematary and the Grudge reboots from a couple of years back, among other things.
And the Pet Sematary reboot got really good reviews. I still haven't seen it for some reason.
Yeah, the Grudge reboot got terrible reviews.
And I would never ever watch it because small Asian children in horror scared the fucking Jesus out of me.
Yes.
Like, I can't even watch the trailers.
But I whatever about the mixed reviews of other things he did, I like what he did here.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of this. I was a big fan of his novels and his short stories before this. The Books of Blood is, like, I think my love with Clive Barker started when I was like 13 or 14 and I got the children's book he wrote.
Yeah.
Called The Thief of Always. And from then, kind of, his stuff's really hard to find, but... Yeah.
Anything apart from the Books of Blood is really hard to find.
Or anything like Hellraiser, The Scarlet Gospels.
Yeah.
It can be quite difficult to track down, but the Books of Blood, I think I ate them.
They're a great series of short stories from where this short story came.
Candyman was in the Books of Blood.
Yeah, and we also got Books of Blood itself as a movie and Dread.
And Rawhead Rex was adapted, I think, in the early 90s.
Yes, it was. So we've gotten a few films out of the Books of Blood.
Candyman probably being the most successful. I would say this is a close follow-up, although Candyman obviously has just had a sequel out as well.
This certainly got quite good reviews when it came out.
Yeah.
It didn't get a huge release, unfortunately, because there was a dickhead producer who apparently...
No, he was a new executive who just didn't like the film and was like, no, we'll put it in the like shitty pound cinemas.
Yeah, it got released in dollar theatres.
Yeah.
And a lot of countries it only got direct-to-DVD releases. In fact, I think in Ireland it only got a direct-to-DVD release. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now you do have to kind of like Clive Barker.
Yeah, it's definitely a very Clive Barker story, especially with the ending, but we'll talk about that later. But would you like to give a quick non-spoiler plot summary?
So the story follows a photographer called Leon as he number one, he lives in New York. He's in love with the city. He wants to show the heart of the city through his photography. And on his journey to do this, he becomes embroiled in this conspiracy following this serial killer. Well, or who he presumes is a serial killer. Yeah,
on the subways.
And you don't know if this is actually happening or if he's just kind of losing his mind.
Yeah, no, the story is very much about his...
It's his obsession with this and how it starts to influence his relationships, his friendships, his mental state. He starts having nightmares, things like that. And you start to wonder kind of, is this real or is this him going mad?
Yeah, again, a fairly simple story like Perfect Creature last week.
Yeah.
You know, it is just about this one man's obsession taking hold and kind of ruining his life.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the horror elements of there actually being a butcher on the New York subway.
Yeah.
Played by the most excellent Vinnie Jones.
Oh, Vinnie Jones. You put Vinnie Jones in a really sharp suit in anything and I'll watch it.
He's really good in this though.
He is.
He is really, really
I
good
love him. I have to say, I do love him in Snatch.
Yes.
When your man's head in the car door.
No, that's from Lock,
Stock, yeah. Head in the car door.
No, Vinnie Jones is fantastic in this as the wordless or the lineless silent
Mahogany.
Yeah, Mahogany. He does play it really, really well. I mean, I know some people say, it's easy when you have no lines, but...
No, he is so menacing.
Yeah.
And the way he moves and just certain aspects of it, there's a nuance to it that
you wouldn't expect from a football player.
Well, he has the world record for the fastest sending off of all time. I think it was like 4 seconds.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he basically just launched himself at somebody else and like broke their leg or something. Like he did, like he just was like, I'm having you. The whistle went.
Oh yeah,
he just destroyed them.
I think he was aiming for getting the record, for getting sent off the quickest.
But I do love him. I do enjoy him as an actor. And he does very much tend to play up that whole like Cockney bruv thing. So to see him in something like this where it's all mime and emotion, very similar to Karen
Fukuhara in The Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, who we talk about a lot in our other podcast.
But to see somebody actually be able to convey emotion and pain, especially because he makes very little noise even during fight scenes, it's really, really commendable. There's no like he kept his mouth shut, which
yeah. Now, I was going to make a comment about playing against type, and you could argue maybe he's not. He's just playing a quiet version of the other characters he plays, but I don't think that's fair. Like, he's
very mouthy and brash and does that whole kind of shoulder shrug, like that fucking Bittersweet Symphony walk down the road where you're like elbowing people out of the way.
Because in this, as menacing as he looks, he's never
intrusive.
Yeah, and he's never menacing towards anybody other than those he kills, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's just
you know, when he's on the subway and he's just walking down the train cars and he just sits down, none of the other passengers really pay too much mind to him.
Yeah.
He's just a big guy in a suit.
Yeah.
He never looks at anybody or gives them weird looks or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
it's New York. You mind your own fucking business.
Yeah, there is a nuance to it, more so than other roles he's been given.
Even when you see him travelling through the streets and things like that, he's gliding past people. He's very much trying to make himself unknown.
Yeah, he's not looking to be noticed.
So when he does come to the attention of this photographer... His pursuit of him is so clumsy compared to how Mahogany moves through the world. Yeah, the way Leon follows him is so he blunders around.
Speaking of playing against type, when we first heard about this movie and I saw that Bradley Cooper was in it, I was like, the Hangover guy? Because at that point that was really all he had been in, and I was like, the Hangover guy, the main guy from Hangover and a couple of other comedy films, is going to be the lead in a Clive Barker horror film.
Yeah, so he plays Leon.
Yeah, he plays Leon, and I was very surprised.
Yeah, no,
he plays this very well. He did the horror role excellently, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Couple of bits that we'll probably talk about later to do with his and Maya's relationship that weren't great, but there's some fantastic acting from him in this.
Yes. I also like the fact that as it goes on and as his mental state degrades, he just gets more and more dishevelled and exhausted looking.
That's what he plays super well.
And the frantic pace that he has kind of picks up, and you could just see the obsession getting the claws in there.
Yeah, if we were to break his character down into, say, the obsession side of things.
Yeah. And
then the earlier Leon photographer side of things, I don't really buy him as a photographer.
No,
But I totally buy the mental degradation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, him as a photographer, he's a bit wah.
Yeah, I don't know, he just doesn't fully sell it.
The setup, there's not a lot of effort kind of put into the setup of the world. Like, his backstory doesn't feel fleshed out. He doesn't feel like he exists until he starts obsessing.
Yeah.
It feels like everything else is a facade, and he's just going through the motions.
And I do find that the start of the film, not that it drags a little, I mean, it's a horror film and the gore in it is excellent, so I kind of just wanted to get to the gore straight away. And obviously you need to have a setup for the film.
Yeah.
It's just, I find particularly the art world stuff with Brooke Shields' character, I could do without a lot of that in this.
You ever kind of get the feeling that Clive Barker just wanted to showcase some of his art? Because that is actually his art hanging up there.
Yeah. And a lot of his short stories and stories do involve artists.
Yeah. Is it on this that it has the behind the... there was an interview with him,
I
think, on this DVD?
It's either the special features of this or the special features of Lord of Illusion, which is another Clive Barker DVD we have. And it's like Clive Barker inside the mind of, and it's basically just a tour of his house and his paintings and nothing else. Nothing to do with his movies, nothing to do with his books. It's just a half an hour of Clive Barker going, look at this painting. Now look at this painting. Now look at this painting. Now look at this painting.
That man eats an awful lot of strong cheese before bed.
Yeah, look at this nightmare painting. Look at this nightmare painting and this nightmare painting. I love Clive Barker, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I wanted something a little bit more.
He did build an amazing video game as well, so it was very short, but it was amazing, a great story.
But yeah, it was fun, it was different.
Yeah, but don't ask him about his artwork.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the art world stuff in this, I found it dragged a little bit.
It served no purpose other than to move along the plot and get him out to where he needs to be. It's all it is the push for him to go
and delve deeper.
Because he's trying to get in with this like extremely famous art gallery owner, whatever she is, and you know, she makes all these like really fucking hoity-toity comments about how she knew somebody was a genius when they were 3 days late for lunch or some other fucking piss.
What she says, punctuality is a virtue of the mediocre.
Yeah.
She's a proper art tosser.
Yeah.
Like
she wants a single plum floating in perfume served in a man's hat.
Yeah.
And that does feel like it drags down the story, but the only purpose it serves is to get him to go out and to look for these more dangerous situations, to get these more evocative photos.
If I were to change it, I'd cut out that side of it, because one of the other things that we do feel is lacking is the relationship side with him and Maya.
Yeah.
So you could just have Maya trying to encourage him to go out and shoot more and get that from it, and then get a little bit more of their relationship.
They already have that, because in his world, he lives with his girlfriend. Wherever she works, they have a friend who's involved in the art world.
Yeah. Jurgis.
Jurgis
is kind of fun.
But she's the one who goes and asks Jurgis why hasn't he introduced her photographer boyfriend to all these art contacts, and he says, it's because he hasn't asked me yet.
Yeah.
So she goes and asks for it. She takes instead of him manning up, basically, and going and asking, it just seems like he's going through the motions of, I'm a struggling photographer who chases crime scenes and sells the photos. And he seems to be okay just in that. Like, it didn't seem to occur to him to go and ask.
Yeah, I think that's why the art stuff falls a bit flat for me.
Yeah, he doesn't have that. There's no passion.
There's no passion. There's no ambition.
Yeah.
Really, until... I mean, I know it's one of the very early scenes in the film, but it does come across as he has no ambition until his girlfriend tells him, I've set up this interview for you. And then all of a sudden, he's super ambitious.
Yeah, but somebody else went out and did the legwork for him.
Yeah. Maya's not... I didn't really like Maya.
Maya, I feel bad because I think she was done a bit dirty. Feel like the friend, like they...
Leslie Bibb plays her. And Leslie Bibb does great with what she was given.
Yes.
I just feel like there wasn't enough of their relationship for it to sell the breakdown.
The friend in the diner was the guy who owns the diner that she works in, that they're mates with. A lot of that was unnecessary.
Well, I have a little character list here, and beside Jurgis, I have just written down sidekick guy. And beside Otto, I have the reason we see the goddamn cafe so much.
Otto was unnecessary. You could have taken him out of it entirely and developed more of, like, say, his relationship with Maya and maybe the friendship with Jurgis. Instead, it just feels scattered.
Yeah, as I said, Otto's the reason we see the cafe so much. And it's like...
Did they run out of sets? Did they decide they needed a new set?
They're in the cafe an awful lot. And that's fine to just have, like... Maybe they were like, we don't want every scene to be in the apartment, so we'll put some of them in the cafe. Because apart from the subway sets, it's really just the apartment, the cafe, and
the art gallery.
And that's fine. But we didn't really need to have the cafe owner that Maya worked for to
be a friend
or a character to understand why they were in this cafe all the time.
Yeah.
So or maybe it speaks to me of a longer film.
It does. There is sections, especially when he starts to become really obsessive and he goes missing a little bit. He's going out late at night and shooting in these really dangerous areas, and he comes across a woman she's been cornered by these 3 thugs, and they have a knife to her face, and he's taking photographs of this, and then he does kind of eventually...
Man up? For lack of a better word.
And step in, and he points out the security, and he does it, he looks so fucking smug when he does it. It pisses me off so badly when he points to the security camera. And he's just like, it's a security camera. And it's like, dude, if they didn't stop when you were taking the photos of them, why do you think a security camera is going to stop him? He's going to stab you.
Well, I suppose... Because, I thought that was a bit weird as well. I thought he should have made more of a deal of the fact that I'm taking photos of you as you're walking towards me, you moron. But I suppose maybe there was somebody in a writing room said, well, he could just take the camera off him and smash it and then stab him. Yeah. Whereas the security camera is a live feed. So even if he smashes the security camera, it's still recorded somewhere. Yeah.
I just don't think he cared. Like, if they were willing to corner a woman in an extremely well-lit and still quite busy subway station, I don't think a camera was going to deter them, and I think that was the intent.
Yeah, that seems a bit... It serves its purpose, because it's to show you kind of, is he going to be more concerned with getting the shot or being a good person?
Yeah.
But it's a little bit clunky. I do realise we've spent the first 15 minutes not entirely shitting on this film, but we haven't praised it too much. I do really enjoy it.
No, it is a really good film. I do
really enjoy it. It's just
don't invest too much emotionally into the characters outside of Mahogany, who is the butcher, and Leon. Yeah. Their relationship is the only really important one in this. Everything else just kind of serves to highlight how intertwined their relationship is.
Yeah, and we've nearly mentioned every character, every important character in the film so far. Yeah. In Leon, his girlfriend Maya, their mate Jurgis, the cafe owner Otto, the art dealer Hoff, Mahogany, the killer, and then the only other two characters that are in any way important are a detective and a train driver. Yeah. And that's it.
Can I just point out Tony Curran, who plays the train driver?
Tony Curran is great.
Yeah, Tony Curran is great. It was just such a teeny tiny role.
But an important one. Yeah. We probably can't talk... He's very plot important, so if we don't want to go into spoilers, we can't talk much about him, but Tony Curran is very fun when he's in this. Yes. Very, very fun.
He looks real creepy, clean shaven too.
Yeah, because kind of when I think of Tony Curran, I think of him in Underworld.
Oh, when he's all like shaggy.
When he plays Marcus and he's got the mad long hair and he's a big horrible monster. Yeah. So yeah, to see him clean shaven and talking in an American accent is a bit weird.
Yeah, because he does have a very thick Scottish brogue.
But back to the gangbanger guys. That's kind of the
gangbang. Sorry. It's like cornhole. It's a word you don't hear that often.
Yeah. That's one of the only scenes where I think we do see kind of the grime of New York, or the kind of the heart of New York that he wants to capture is there, and a bit when he's kind of running around the meatpacking plant. But I feel like if they had cut some of, say, the art world stuff or the cafe stuff, we could have gotten a little bit more of like New York City as a character and the grime and the dirt that he's so interested in capturing.
In the short story, New York is very much a character in her own right. Yeah. And the character of Leon actually in the short story hates New York. He despises it and he thinks it's filthy. And, bearing in mind that the books of Blood, I think, were written in the 80s. Yeah. New York was a very different beast in that day as well. Oh, so he makes comments about the prostitution and the pimps and the crime and even just like the trash. It would be closer to kind of the New York of the warriors.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Than New York as it's portrayed now. So they've already flipped it that way by having him love the city and want to capture the city in all her glory. But they don't really do that either.
No, and the talk of him wanting to capture the heart of the city is important for the very messed up ending that comes with this film. Yes. But you don't get the reveal of why that's important until like the very end of the film. Yeah. So yeah, maybe they could have played up him trying to find the heart of New York in the city itself a bit more.
I will admit that is super nitpicky because I love the short story so much and the world that Clive built within that short story. And I just remembered that I shouldn't refer to authors by their first names unless I'm their friend. So I'm going to tweet at him later.
But that's it. We're picking apart like character structure and
of a 7-page short story.
Well, of a 99-minute genre film, like it's like I say, it's not there to win any Oscars or to be a massive character study. It's there to give us a good gory horror story, and it does that really well.
But I have to say, it opens really, really strongly because your opening sequence in it is amazing, and it really sets the tone for what's going to come. So it opens on this guy, a commuter, asleep on the subway. Yeah, train car is completely empty. He's in his suit. He looks around all groggy, realizes the train's going super fast, and he kind of staggers up and grabs his briefcase and goes off to find somebody. Yeah. And then slips and falls in a gigantic pool of blood. Yeah. That you had to have noticed because it's so massive. There is no way you couldn't.
He must have been super sleepy when he woke up.
Yeah, well, he full on, both legs go up in the air. He goes down like your man on the RT fucking weather report.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's covered, like it's all up the back of him. He would have been so sticky. And he like flails around and eventually gets himself up and he looks around the end of the carriage and there's just like blood splatter everywhere. And he makes his way closer to the door where the blood's coming from.
Yep.
Because that's what you do.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks through the window and you can just see the back of a suit with like this big, is it a hook? Does he have the hook at that point? Or is it...
I can't remember.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but you see kind of a slicing motion and blood spray.
Mm.
And that's how the movie opens.
Yeah, and then it's roll credits and we cut to Leon running around taking photos.
Yeah.
But it's probably a good, half an hour or so into the film before we see any actual murders happen. So it's probably like, just hey, look, this is what you have to look forward to. You know, there will, more will come. No,
it's
the
the
opening
28
is really
weeks later opening.
And for a film that we've been giving out a bit already, one of the things they could have really hammed up, and I'm glad they didn't, is kind of I'm trying to say this without being too spoilery, but Mahogany the Killer is attached to like a secret society.
Oh, there was a massive conspiracy
there's a big
going
conspiracy,
on in
and
this.
They don't play up that kind of secret order thing too much. Other films would tend to maybe give you a big long exposition at the end about everything and how, we're everywhere and we control everything. But you don't really get that. You kind of find out one or two people who were involved in it and you get a bit of a speech from a character at the end, but it's really very short and doesn't explain much. And I like that they leave that
I understand what you're saying with that. The thing that annoyed me is that the symbol that they use, it's on his ring, the seal, basically. I feel like unless you knew what you were looking for, that was so easily missed. And even on like second or third watch throughs, you wouldn't notice that the seal on this ring is connected to this on this person or this on this person.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like they could have made that more kind of subtly obvious.
See, this confuses me because you pick up on things way more than I do when we watch films.
Only for the fact that I read it in the trivia on the IMDb page that this symbol, like multiple characters wore this symbol. And then when I was watching it, I was seeing it and I was like, oh... They don't utilise it enough because especially when he's starting to like lose his mind, it could have become this thing where he starts thinking...
he starts to see it everywhere.
See it and realise that like it goes deeper than he realised. And I've been part of this whole mission to like... It's like you don't know if he's being lured into this conspiracy or if they're trying to repulse him.
I don't know. I thought that it was fairly obvious, to be honest with you. And you know me, I don't like when films dumb things down for me. So I'm surprised that me, the person who always misses things, thinks that it was maybe a bit too obvious. And you, the person who always catches things, thinks it wasn't obvious enough.
I just think it was underutilized as a tool.
No, I thought it was...
It felt like it was just kind of like, oh, well, we need something that'll kind of show that these people are involved. Like something like a Masonic pin or...
Yeah, but I know the character in question that you're talking about. And when the reveal is made with this seal, I thought it was just so that's why they were doing what they were doing earlier in the film, because they're part of this order. And I thought it was enough. It's just a personal taste thing, obviously. But I just find it funny that, it's kind of a role reversal thing here, because that would normally be a problem.
No, I just feel like if you've gone through the effort of doing something like that, go for it.
Yeah, no, I do. I just
feel like
point,
it was both underutilized, but like, and also kind of not had enough thought put into how it was going to be used as well, and they just kind of threw it onto a couple of people, and we're like, there you go. As opposed to actually, it could have been built into things like in one or two of the sets. Especially in the abandoned City Hall set. Yeah, it could have been built into the floor mosaic or something like that.
Yeah, they definitely could have utilised it better. I think what I'm saying is I'm just glad they didn't go like Da Vinci Code on it.
Oh no,
have every little aspect of the conspiracy explained out to a T.
No, this is just the iconography, especially the whole conspiracy revolves around this kind of ancient thing. So you would think symbols of it would manifest themselves through everyday life in really subtle ways.
Yeah, no, I mean, they could have had a bit more of that kind of Illuminati thing in it.
Yeah, just the iconographer in me wants it built into shit.
No, I do. I get where you're coming from.
Like, I want it to be visible, but yet still part of like the history of what's going on. Like, I want it to be used in a subtle way in like a floor mosaic. or as like say like a lapel pin, or
not just
if you're
going to
go through the effort of creating a symbol.
I
would like you to utilize that symbol in a more creative fashion.
Yeah, and again, I suppose there are things that do feel like they were cut out of this movie.
Yeah.
One thing in particular, which I'll get to in a second, but that could have been something that if the movie was cut down from, say, 120 minutes to the 99-minute runtime, they might have said, oh, lose those couple of bits just where Leon sees the symbol around the place.
I also feel like, given that it had been up until, I think, quite late in production, had been a Patrick Tatopoulos.
Yeah,
his basis is in production design.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe he had the idea to go forward more with that as well.
Yeah, and that maybe Ryuhei just decided, oh, you know what, no, I'm actually just going to keep the seal aspect just for the ring or whatever.
I just feel like, given that he's so detail oriented, especially when you look at all the Underworld films, where again the iconography is built into the structures in a really subtle way.
But talking about cuts there was kind of as an excuse for something we didn't like, maybe. But one of the things that I really do feel like there was a cut is when Maya and Leon have their kind of main big argument about halfway through the film, and she starts talking about how he's so obsessed and she just wants him to give it up. And really up to that point they've only had one conversation about what he's becoming obsessed with.
The argument is the culmination of a lot of small things building up over time.
But we haven't seen them.
It has that feeling to it. It's that explosive, like, this is the one last thing. I've already, it could be something that she's already asked him not to do this before or made comments about it. But because that section is missing, and it just feels like this argument comes out of nowhere. And
what sparks the argument is enough to have an argument over.
Yeah, anyway.
But then she starts talking about, you need to give up this, it's changing you and this, that and the other.
But you don't see how.
We haven't seen it yet. After that, we see an amazing change in Leon.
Yeah.
And it's played really well. But up to that point, we've only seen him really do kind of, say, maybe one or two weird things. And nothing short of the weird cafe sex scene has been...
the uncomfortable scene?
Yeah, nothing short of that had been directed at her. So I feel like there definitely was at least one scene cut there where she says, oh, I think you might be taking it a bit too far with this butcher guy that you're following around. I want you to stop and just pass the details on to somebody else. Because at this point, she is stalking him, and he's stalking Mahogany.
And the girl that he had rescued from the three guys, he had photographed her getting on a train. She subsequently goes missing, and he does take these photos. He does do the responsible thing and takes the photos to the police, but his attitude towards the detective is so bizarre. He's just really like, it's like, oh, I'm doing you a favour, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, you are, but you should also be concerned that this person is missing and you're the last person who could definitively say you saw it.
Yeah.
Like, you should be a little bit more cooperative, because they might start looking at you as the suspect.
Yeah, and they kind of do a little bit.
They do, but he just comes across as real snarky.
Yeah.
Like, to the detective.
Yeah, there are...
His personality, up until the obsession takes over entirely, his personality kind of can swing. Yeah, and I think that's why I would have preferred less cafe and less art world stuff and just more Maya and Leon stuff. Yeah.
And it definitely would have made us feel more for the characters.
Like, he's a dick.
Like,
from the get-go. Just in general, he's just not a nice guy. Like, the way he treats Otto with the he brings his own... Number one, this guy brings his own fucking tofu to a diner.
Yeah.
And is like, cook it on your grill.
Well, I mean, I think he is...
He's mates with them, I know, but he's the type of person who also brings his own tofu to a diner.
Oh, yeah. No, but what I was going to say is he is... I don't think we're supposed to like pre-transition Leon any more than we're supposed to like post-transition Leon. He is a selfish asshole at the start of the film. And by the end of the film, he's... It might sound weird, but by the end of the film, he's a selfless character.
Yeah.
I won't say more than that. But yeah, I just more of them getting fleshed out, because just at the end of that argument scene, when he starts taking photos of her.
Yeah.
Props to both those actors, because that scene is played so well with her. There's very little lines in that, but there's so much emotion comes across in that.
Yeah.
And it's a weird, tough scene to watch. And
yeah,
I feel
it's very uncomfortable, and
if we had seen more of their relationship, that scene might mean a bit more to us.
Yeah,
because I was just watching it thinking, damn, this is two really good actors.
Honestly,
when I was watching that scene,
I thought Jurgis and Otto were the same person for a bit.
No, the bandana. That's how you tell the difference.
Because Again, it's only a 19-minute film. It didn't really need as many. You could have literally just lost Otto and saved yourself that time to make a more compelling character story.
Yeah, they could have just made Jurgis or Otto one person, one or the other. The cafe guy, and he gets introduced to the art world some other way.
Yeah.
Or Jurgis, and we don't have a cafe owner at all.
Yeah, I would have rather had Jurgis and not had a cafe owner.
Because literally,
I do think the art aspect of it is, given that photographers and art and intellectuals are a huge focus of Clive Barker stories, I would have preferred to have kept that aspect of it in.
You fleshed it out a bit more. Yeah.
Because so many of his stories involve Candyman is a woman doing her dissertation, but she's studying graffiti.
Plus you could have had the contrast between Maya telling him, no, this dark path isn't good for you, but the artist pushing him more and more towards capturing this
you've got your kind of good idea, bad idea.
The
push and pull of where his girlfriend just wants him to shoot the things that make him happy.
Yeah.
She's kind of leading him. And then you could have even linked that back to some sort of subtle pendant or something that maybe she's part of this whole thing.
Yeah. That she was a subtle hand guiding him towards. Yeah, that's a very, very good point, actually, because that would have made at least the art side of it at least a bit worthwhile and been like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why she was there, because she was trying to guide him without him realizing it. Yeah, that's a very good point. But that's all kind of plot stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the best stuff in the film is the visuals.
It's a very beautiful film.
And not just the...
given that a lot of it takes place at night or in underground,
the subway,
it is visually very, very striking. It's very, very harshly lit, which creates really, really nice shadow.
Yeah, there's a
lot of depth in it.
There's quite a lot of shots that are framed almost as if they are photographs.
Yeah, that comes across a lot in it.
Yeah, that play with contrast and that play with the kind of the rule of thirds of imagery, and there's quite a lot of shots that are beautiful photographs. Yeah. Or there's quite a lot of dolly and zoom shots using the subways and the tunnels and stuff. Mm. And it's all very pretty, but then Ryuhei...
he also makes really good use of time capture. Especially that, there's a scene where Mahogany's sitting waiting on the train, and he's just sitting there.
That's one of the ones in
very
particular.
Neat, very tidy. He's got his Gladstone bag on his lap, and he's just stuck on dead still.
Yeah.
While the world buzzes around him.
Yeah.
But nobody even comes and sits next to him. Nothing like that. There's very much... Fuck no. He's very much in this little bubble of time and space that is his and his alone. And it is really, really beautiful, beautiful shot.
Yeah, and Ryuhei, he's a very stylish director.
Yes.
I've seen a couple of his films, and he's a real slick visual director. Mm. And it comes across in this. The gore is beautiful.
The fighting scenes can get a little bit messy, I found. One or two of them were a little bit overly long for my taste.
That's probably where he's coming from, in that he's a Asian martial arts and action director. Yeah,
fight scenes because there is some areas where sequences, they go for these mad, pan around... the whole scene and then back to the action kind of shots, and it takes you out of it.
Yeah, we were saying that when we were watching it. There's a big fight scene on the train towards the end, and there's a bit where the camera kind of pulls out of the train carriage.
Zooms
and
around
kind of does a couple of circles around the train carriage coming in and out of it, as you can see the action. And it's a beautiful shot. But it's in the middle of the fight scene. So we have fight scene on the train with conventional camera angles.
Yeah.
Then this cool circly thing, and then back to conventional camera angle fight scene. And if they had just had that fight scene as is and put that little bit somewhere else, it would have been class. Maybe use that when he's fighting the big Guardian Angel Black Panther dude.
Yeah, no, well, he's a Guardian Angel.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they threw the Guardian Angel in there as a nod to the 80s New York.
Yeah.
I really like that. And your man, he's, you were saying he's a former
MMA guy.
And he shows it, and he is lamping Vinnie Jones out of it. It's great.
Yeah, that, if they had used that camera trick, then it would have really worked for that fight.
Especially because he was picking him up and throwing him. That's when you want that, that pulled back view. Whereas the only other time I really find that kind of zoomy round view does anything is if you've got a big battle scene. Age of Ultron is a good example of when they're in the final fight, and that where it kind of focuses on each individual little fight that's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas in having had the camera so close to the action, to have it pull back and out of it, you were like, huh.
Yeah, no, it was a bit...
Like you were expecting to see somebody coming flying out a window.
Yeah.
Or like it felt like something should have happened outside of the train.
Yeah.
Like, or you should have been able to see something in the background or given you an idea of like you were travelling under something or into ruins or something.
It was a fantastic shot, poorly placed.
Yes.
Because that fight scene itself is also really fun and not like something you would expect from a Japanese martial arts action director either, because it's a real kind of brawly fight.
Oh, it is.
And there's, trying not to be too spoilery, but there's some dead bodies hanging up in the train car.
Yeah.
And they're like missing each other and accidentally stabbing the dead bbodies and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just real, I don't want to say gritty, but it is just a dirty fight, like, and it's very fun. It's very fun. The various murders in it are visually fun as well.
I'm a big fan of Mahogany's weapon of choice, which is that big... It's a big-ass silver hammer mallet thing.
Yeah.
And
it's a meat tenderizer.
Yeah, but it was... Yeah. And there's some very nice sequences involving that where he's just smashing people. Now, he's not taking on like a full train carriage people.
No. But
it's like the one or two unfortunate bastards who have fallen asleep on the last train.
Yeah.
Are the ones that he is targeting.
Yeah, and they never dwell on the murder scenes too long except for the Ted Raimi one.
Oh!
Which is quite fun.
Yeah, but it's Ted Raimi. If you're going to dwell on anybody getting like...
murdered, yeah.
It's going to be
you may as well
him.
dwell on Ted Raimi and there's a particularly fun nut shot in that scene.
Oh, yes, there is. The action in it is really, really well done. Because it is very brawlery, and the way that they're framed as well, Mahogany's never fully in focus.
Yeah, if you'll forgive the pun, that's where the real meat of this movie is.
Yeah.
Is in the latter half, in all the stuff to do with Leon's degradation and what Mahogany's getting up to on the trains.
Yeah.
That's where the real
It had kind of
fun...
been like hinted at up to this point, but this is where you get to see kind of the scale of what is going on, and you get to see a bit more of Mahogany's life as well through Leon stalking him.
Yeah.
And just his existence, because that's all it is. And there's weird polyp things he has on his back. There's scallops.
Well, they're all over him. But yeah, there's very little. I know we spent a lot criticising the start of the film. There's very little I'd criticise about the end of the film.
No, it does.
The latter half is just so much fun. It gets
the legs under it, and it really, really goes for it.
And I understand some of the stuff I was moaning about is necessary to get us to this point.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe there were some better ways they could have gone about it. But as I say, the second half, yeah, there's very little I'd complain about, except for maybe that camera shot being used in the wrong spot. Because, yeah, visually, it's so stunning for the second half. Between their nicely framed shots, the clever, like, technical tricks that he uses, and then the very fun gore.
There's so much gore. That set must have been so sticky. So sticky.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for that poor bald guy, because that had to have been so horrible.
I feel so bad for the poor fucking set decorators who had to, because I'm assuming they didn't really, have that many train cars. They probably only had one or two.
Oh, yeah,
and they just had to keep hosing it down and washing it out for reset every time. They're the ones I feel sorry for. But the ending.
The ending is they kept with the Clive Barker ending.
Yeah. And when we're talking Clive Barker films,
they're really fucked up.
And when we're talking Clive Barker endings,
they're really, really fucked up. Like, what was the book I got in New Zealand? It wasn't The Damnation Game. Which one was it?
No, it was The Damnation Game.
And you were so mad about how that book ended because it wasn't satisfying.
I can't remember how it ended.
I just remember you being really fucking mad about it.
Yeah.
Because Clive Barker never wraps things up neatly. He will just leave things dead-ended, or like that's just the end of that chapter. He will never fully satisfy you.
Yeah, and normally it works well, but you're left wanting more, and you're left with questions, and you're left with a sense of uneasiness, and that's why I love Clive Barker so much.
Clive Barker books can come back and haunt you years later.
With that one, I think it was just, there was too much left unsaid.
Yeah. But there were a few things that actually needed a little bit more exposition, and that's unusual. But it was just that...
Not in this.
In this, sometimes you do need it.
I don't know. I really liked how much is said and how much is left unsaid at the end of this film.
Yeah.
And
I'm just being nitpicky for the sake of my love of the short story. That I think that some things were lost in translation from page to screen, and that one or two of the things that they left out were really, really important in terms of the overall story.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read the story actually, but I think in the story, he, as you said, he goes from hating to loving
the city.
And in this, he does love the city at the start, but it's not about going from loving to hating the city. It's about going from, for me, the selfishness to that weird selflessness I talked about.
So he's going from like a love and worship to service.
I love worship of himself to the service of the city.
Because he wants to show the heart of the city for his own validation.
Yeah, and by the end of it, he's found the heart of the city and he realizes it needs to be preserved.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about it was just that we got the ending that we got.
Yeah.
Because it is, in terms of especially some of his short stories are enough that they just are a snippet and you don't have these weirder concepts in them. Midnight Meat Train does have this very important weird concept at the end that explains the motivations of everything coming before it.
Midnight Meat Train is one of the ones where you can really see the H.P. Lovecraft influence on Clive Barker writing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It really does dip into Lovecraft territory.
Oh, totally.
And I feel like that is really, really important to the world that it's set in.
And that was why I was so worried about the ending. And there's a bit earlier on in the film, that could just be seen as a dream sequence. And I was a little bit worried the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, is that all we're going to get of the ending? Or will they actually... And then when the ending came around and they gave it to us, I was just delighted.
Yay!
Especially because this wasn't long after I Am Legend.
Oh.
Yeah, let's not forget that absolutely...
I'd forgotten that was a movie.
Yeah.
I adore... honestly, I Am Legend we'll probably never cover just because we both adore...
Well, we
the
might
novel. Oh, to shout at it. Probably.
Yeah, because I know I started this podcast off by saying that we will be covering the films that we love, but there are probably going to be times where we cover some films we hate just to get really ranty.
And the films we hate, we really, really fucking hate.
And I Am Legend annoyed me so badly because it's the start. There's a couple of bits in the start of it that I quite like. It's just that ending is just so absolute fucking hot garbage fire, complete fucking trash. That, it ruins the entire movie. But
now you know how I feel about fucking the iRobot as well, is up there with that. Basically anything that has taken an amazing book and completely fucking missed the point.
Shit all over it.
Will not go down well in this house.
Especially I Am Legend, because the ending they gave us is completely contrary and totally undoes and is the opposite of the point of the ending of the book.
Especially because they shot that ending and it didn't go down well with test audiences.
That's what really fucking annoyed me, was when I found that out.
Once again, test audiences are fucking shite.
But they've included the alternate book correct ending on the DVD of I Am Legend, so I would be curious to give it a watch with that ending and see if it does make the film any better. But
they didn't do that in this.
Yes, back to this. I was fucking delighted because it's an even weirder, more out there ending than most horror films at the time.
Yeah.
And, I was surprised. And maybe the fact that the producer didn't have a lot of faith in it, maybe they didn't even bother putting it in before test audiences, because that is an ending that I reckon test audiences...
It was some executive within the studio who had come in.
He was a producer, though.
That
was one of the reasons he was pissy about this film, was because he didn't get an EP credit, whereas he got an EP credit on a couple of other horror films, and he started pushing those.
Off.
Yeah, he got an EP credit on The Strangers.
Sorry, I'm just going to check and see what other horror movies came out in this year, just...
In 2008.
Because I feel like that was when we started getting things like Paranormal Activity, and there was a very definitive kind of shift from...
The late...
gory horror to...
The late 2000s.
Kind of Blair Witch Project.
No, the late 2000s was when we started to get a lot of things like Paranormal Activity, was probably a bit earlier than this. It was 2005, 2006, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, you started to get a lot of the Paranormal Activity, the Strangers, and the Conjuring stuff, and you started to get
a lot more suspense style horror of
Yeah, you started to get a lot of remakes of things like The Hills Have Eyes, The Last House on the Left.
Yeah, it was either very mediocre, because honestly, I I went to the Blair Witch Project when it came out in the cinema when I was 13.
There was an awful lot
I've seen it. And every other film that is in that style, I'm always like, I will always remember that disappointment.
Yeah, there's something about like The Strangers and like Last House on the Left and things like that are mostly just about home invasion horror that I'm like, no, horror has to have supernatural. Fuck off. Like, don't give me just normal people being, mean to other normal people. I want some fucked up supernatural shit in my horror.
Yeah, so there was Quarantine, which was the remake of Wreck.
Wreck is fantastic. Quarantine is garbage.
The Ruins, The Strangers, Mirrors, The Eye. She had the haunted eyeball.
Oh yeah.
It was Jessica Alba.
Yeah, that's right.
The Haunting of Molly Hartley.
Oh, you're not going to list off every single horror film that came out in 2008,
but it's very much a mishmash. You'd Feast 2, which, so it was a bit of a mediocre year.
Well, given what you've just listed there, this for me would be a standout then.
Yeah.
Even with all the bitching that we've done.
Like, you had Saw 5 as well. That's how many Saw films there were in 2008.
Yeah, we were up to Saw 5 by then.
Yeah.
This then for me, it was definitely one of my standouts that year when we saw it, because I was so delighted with the ending. And as I say, visually, it's really appealing.
Yeah, there was a bit of a horror resurgence. There was a bit of a Clive Barker resurgence because this was around the time Midnight Meat Train came out first, and then you did get Dread and the Books of Blood.
The Books of Blood, yeah.
Which did come out, I think it was were they Lionsgate produced?
Yeah.
Lionsgate were very much becoming known as a horror studio.
Well, they are.
Yeah, that's where they cut their teeth. So they were taking more of a gamble on these smaller genre horror films.
And this does now, like, since its release in the 14 odd years since it's come out.
Oh, it still looks amazing.
It does have a good reputation, and there was a review at the time that's often quoted on the DVD covers and stuff like that for this film that it's the best Clive Barker adaptation since Hellraiser.
Yeah. Well, and he was involved in it as well, which always makes a huge difference.
But that means they're putting it above the original Candyman as well, which is pretty high praise.
Yeah, now, I love the original Candyman.
Yeah, me too. It doesn't have a super high rating on like IMDb, but I love Candyman. Tony Todd is just fucking excellent. Tony Todd is the man.
Yeah. No, it is. I think they knew that they weren't going to have the audience for it. Like, Clive Barker it wasn't going to be like it was a Stephen King film.
Yeah, no, it was never going to get a huge release anyway. But they could have given it a bit more of a push than putting it in 100 fucking dollar theaters, and that was it. Like,
yeah, well, that just goes to prove sometimes the studios can really, really mess up.
Oh, well, we know that.
Yeah.
But
if you're looking for something to watch some night that's not overly long, that is going to keep you awake with questions.
Yeah, the ending. If you Google Midnight Meat Train, one of the first suggestions is Midnight Meat Train ending explained.
Yeah. So if you want something that you can choose a fat over. Yeah. This is a good one. This is like the horror movie equivalent of Donnie Darko. It's not as fucking confusing as Donnie Darko.
No, but in the sense of
you walk away from it
point,
going,
and then
what?
The ending gets really fucked up, and you walk away going, oh shit, I need to think about this and talk about this.
I need to go, hang on, what?
Yeah, that was kind of weird, and
everybody's got their own theory, which is always fun.
Yeah, but for me, definitely, despite how we've talked, the good in this film definitely outweighs the bad.
Oh god, yeah. I'm sorry, you're one getting her head punted off with the hammer.
Yeah, the gore in it is
it's so good.
The gore is top notch.
There are buckets. Like, they were hosing this shit down for days.
Leon are trying to defend himself from a knife attack to the face by using his arm as a blocker.
Yeah.
The gore in it is really nice. The visuals in it are beautiful. They are the highlights, and then the ending would be...
I do think one of my favourite visual scenes is when they're in the meat locker, because during Leon's stalking of Mahogany, he actually follows him to work. Like, he's Susie Stalker fan. Like, he actually gets into, like, the butchering outfit and...
Yeah, and follows him to the meat packing plant.
Yeah, but they end up in a chill room that's just those half pig carcasses all hanging. So you've got all these uniform lines of pigs. with them like hiding and moving through it, and it's all very quiet, and you just hear the creaking. You don't even hear the shoes while Mahogany is then stalking him.
Yeah.
It's just, it is gorgeous.
Plus, the ending of that cracked me up.
That is so
because
funny.
He hides by hanging onto one of these carcasses, thinking that Mahogany won't be able to see his feet. And then when he stands back down, he's like, whew, and Mahogany's standing right behind him. And you're watching it going, he's going to do it. He's standing right behind me moment, isn't he? And no, he doesn't. He just kind of, you see this look on Bradley Cooper's face of like him sensing somebody's behind him, and he doesn't look, he just fucking runs top speed out of there.
I also like the fact that he's like, I'm a photographer. I have no upper body strength. Watch me struggle to hold my body weight off the ground.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm one to talk because I wrenched my back trying to open a door the other day.
No, you wrenched your back getting your hand caught in the door.
Yeah, because that's a special talent. So yeah, I couldn't even lift my own body weight off the ground at the moment if I wanted to.
If we were to talk highlights and lowlights?
Highlight for me is just Vinnie Jones, all as the Mahogany character. Just, it was a joy to watch him.
Yeah, if I were to kind of talk, say, top 3 favourite things for me would be sticking the ending.
Oh, yeah.
The Bradley Cooper's performance, that mental degradation. And Vinnie Jones's performance is just fantastic as well.
Yeah.
And then just really slick visuals.
Yeah. It's one of those films that you can go back, it's rewatchable.
Definitely.
Which is always a really good sign. Like, cause I've seen some films that are like, they're amazing. But I never want to watch it again. Either because it's just like too much to take in, or, you know, they're quite long or they're quite tough. Like Brazil, I'll only watch like once every 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it takes me that long to get over it.
And I think all of the films on our lists to cover.
They are ones we've watched a lot.
Again and again and again, and that's why we are going to be podcasting about them, because we can talk about them again and again and again and again. They all tend to be the ones where like it's a horrible shitty night, you're sitting down, you just want to watch something silly or something fun. Yeah, so something you want to familiar. Have a good time. Yeah, well obviously it won't be familiar the first time you watch it, but for us, yeah. But it is enjoyable to watch as a first time round as well. Oh, definitely. And if you've read the short stories, I highly recommend this adaptation. Yeah. Even if you haven't, but you like your horror, I also highly recommend this film. It's a good bowl of popcorn, drink, nom 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 nom, ha! Yeah. Watching like people getting mashed. Yeah, you can check your brain out, except for maybe the last 10 minutes of the film. Yeah. You might want to turn your brain back on if you want to have any hope of understanding it. This is a good film to watch with the subtitles on, because there actually isn't a huge amount of dialogue. Oh, there's some hilarious subtitles as well. Because Mahogany doesn't speak, there's like, you know, annoyed grunt and a lot of that kind of like fun subtitles. Dean accidentally dies in shower. Oh, like we're not supernatural levels of subtitles, but there is some really good subtitles. But because you can lose yourself so much in the visuals, you can actually kind of zone out from what people are saying. Yeah. So it's a good one to watch with subtitles on, just so you don't miss things. Yeah. Well, we tend to watch everything with subtitles on. That's because you're a loud eater. Yeah, you said that before. But, as far as Clive Barker adaptation goes, it's definitely one of the better ones. It is, because I've seen some absolute trash. Oh, yeah. So, if you like Clive Barker, if you like horror, check it out. If you've watched it already, watch it again. Yeah. If you want to see a really different side to Bradley Cooper. Yeah. Honestly, watch it. If you are a fan of Bradley Cooper, I would definitely recommend watching this, just to see. Now he is known as a serious actor, but he still hasn't done many horror roles. Yeah, since then. He's really good. Like I've seen him in the Silver Linings Playbook, which I think he got the Oscar for. Yeah, and he did that Star Is Born thing. So yeah, he's been getting a lot of drama cred. This is fun. Yeah, he's got some horror cred too. Yeah, he's got some horror cred. This is some fun. But guys, I think we'll leave it there for today. We'll be back next week as usual with an undecided film. But I'll probably let you know on Twitter what we'll be covering. But maybe a comedy or something next week. Yeah. If anyone's got any suggestions as well of something they'd like us to watch, definitely tweet it at us, because we're stupid. Yeah, no, I've had one request in that we cover something that one of us hates and the other loves. And we've debating that for a week and it hasn't worked out well because... Yeah, so that one's... That one's on the long finger until we can... I love, I don't think I'll ever get you to watch. Just because I don't think you would actually sit through it. Yeah, no, that one's going to require some thought. But we will be back next week with another film that we love. And until then, you can listen back to our Perfect Creature episode last week, or if you're a fan of The Boys, we've covered every episode of The Boys that's been released so far from season 1 and 2. And the VNN. And of course, we covered the VNN segments as well. And if you'd like to have a chat with us about any of that, you can follow us on Twitter at rantsmono, or you can send us an email to monorantspodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again next week, guys. Bye-bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are MonoRants.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Sci-Fi.